Shalom, 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 shalom. This is Kapalia, aka Pops, a gym at Chicago with a brief sit down. Before I get started, though, like always, I want to send all praises, honor, and glory out to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakwadash. To the apostles and elders of GMS out of New York and the elder bishops out of Connecticut, I want to send double honors because they do rule well. For the brethren around the world, push the truth uncut, unfiltered, giving you the good, bad, and the ugly of the scriptures, correctly breaking down the prophecies and the interaction with the people on the planet. I send a hearty shalom. For the hopeful elect, I hope this is edifying. For the Aquat, the few and the true listeners to say the chair to keep doing so, but for the scorn and scoff, reprobate 2/3 Israelites, 17 other nations who are in the midst of Jacob's trouble is getting worse. So with that, I want you to look at this because it's talking about witchcraft in the USA. And it's funny. You got a female here, first of all, that's got her head covered, which isn't a bad thing. But then look at what we got here. It's a shared picture of a guy. He got what? Got Jesus Christos on his head. Okay. And this, that, and other. So he's pushing, he's visually pushing witchcraft and a false doctrine. Okay. He's going to let some things be talked about in the process of, and she's going to say some things that's actually biblically based. And I'm going to pull some scriptures that's going to substantiate what it is it says. I don't even know how long this ran because it got within like the first minute or so. And I was like, let me go down and do a quick sit down on this. So, because like I said, all this stuff is moving still toward the MOTB because this Edomite technology is his witchcraft. Okay, this Edomite's technology is his witchcraft. He's got chemical imbalances now that if a man wants to be a woman or a woman wants to be the man, he can chemically induce that. He can surgically have a man, someone that was born a male, actually come off and be built like a voluptuous female and whatnot. And now with the laws state as they are, he doesn't even have to let the person that gets in a relationship with him know that he was a man at one point in time and this, that, and other. He just can't have kids and all this other kind of shit. So this is witchcraft on a whole different level that this Edomite has. And it says America, witchcraft is in the USA. So let me let it play. America leads in witchcraft, believe it or not. Okay, this is what it says on the bottom here. But I'm going to play this and let it run.
This is insane. You gotta watch this video. So tell me, is there a lot of witchcraft in Africa? I was like, there's more witchcraft in America than anywhere in the world. Really? I'm serious. It's just packaged differently. It's packaged in a way that people have accepted it. People accept white witches. There's no such thing as a good witch. None. All witchcraft is bad. Anybody that is connecting with the
That's the scripture there. Like I said, remember that point. It's connected with the devil, so blah, 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 this, that, and other. So let's go. I'm going to go back and hit all these scriptures. But let's go.
whether it's New Age, whether it's witchcraft, whether it's Church of Satan, Scientology, it's all the devil. If you open the door for the enemy to come in through whatever it is that we're doing, the attributes of the devil is to steal, to kill, to destroy homes, families, children, business, just everything. And you can see how much our society has gone to a place where it's just so dark and demonic. There are just two forces in the world, God and the devil. Human beings are in the
See, now that's see, like I said, I hadn't even got to this part, but let me go and pull a scripture to get away from that because you want to think that it's God and the devil when they fight against each other. No, that ain't it. That ain't it. That's the way in the scriptures. So let me go and get this. Okay, so actually I'm gonna pull 6. Shall a trumpet, this is Amos 3 and 6, shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? shall there be evil in a city, and Yahweh hath not done it. So Satan, the demons, they all still doing the will of Yahweh while Yahweh Shai. Okay. And verse 7, surely the Lord will do nothing, but he reveals his secret unto his servants, the prophets. We, as prophets of GMS, okay, doing this work, we understand that. So as soon as we hear bullshit, like I said, I hadn't even got to that part of it. As soon as you hear bullshit, you know it. You study, show yourself approved, and you know when you hear bullshit. Period. Okay. I'm gonna leave it there with that. I don't need to go any further than that. Because, matter of fact, I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna go one more scripture and do this. Let me go Job. One and one. One more scripture. Why this thing don't want to act right? I don't know. Okay, Job 1 and 1. We're going to go to 1 and 6. Okay, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them. So how can Satan show up if the Lord has got his angels showing up and Satan be among them? How can that happen? You know what I'm saying? So Satan's not kicked out of heaven. He's doing the work of Yahweh himself. And Yahweh said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered and said to Yahweh, and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And Yahweh said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? So now the Lord is what's getting ready to let this evilness that's getting ready to fall upon Job happen. The Lord is actually bragging on Job to Satan. Okay? And Yahweh said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, from going, okay, verse 8. And Yahweh said to Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth, which means runneth from evil. Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, doth Job fear God for naught? Has not thou made a hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. And Yahweh said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath in thy power only is in thy power. Hold on. And Yahweh said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. He said, so, but what did Satan says? Verse 11. But put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. So this is what Satan said to the Lord. So the Lord sent Satan and told him he could touch all that he had, but he couldn't hold his body, right? Satan doing what the Lord told him he could do. Okay, but let's go back. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. This is what the real understanding of the scriptures show you. There's not an evil that happens that the Lord didn't sanctify and say it could happen. So let me go back to this now.
Greater in the balance of power in the universe, there's the power of God and there's the power of the devil. Human beings don't have power. We have authority. Let us sink in. We don't have power like the devil. We don't have power like God. We have authority. And if we give our authority to God, God intervenes in the world. If we give our authority to the devil intervenes and messes up our world. So the reason why our world is so crazy is because human beings have failed to give their authority to God. This is insane. You gotta watch this video.
Okay. And now you got what appears to be an Edomite saying that this is insane. The narrative has been, like I said, this the technology and this, that, and other. So this Edomite's technology is what is this. But now I'm gonna go back and do this. So let's go.
Yeah. So tell me, is there a lot of witchcraft in Africa? I was like, there's more witchcraft in America than anywhere in the world. Really? I'm serious. It's just packaged differently. It's packaged in a way that people have accepted it. People accept white.
Okay, so what is the packaging? You got LGBT, all this other kind of stuff, right? They're witchcraft, right? Okay, so now let's go and see what the scripture says about witchcraft and these types of things and stuff like that. Okay, let's just make it real quick. Okay, which one I want to go to? Let's go. Let me go to Exodus first. Let me go to Exodus first. (22) verse 18. Exodus 22 and 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. So witchcraft, all the spells, all those things that go with it, ain't supposed to live. Okay? Put it to death. Period. Period. Okay? But as a matter of fact, Saul had decreed that witches were to be put to death. So when Saul went looking for a witch, okay, the witch was afraid to reveal herself to Saul, but the spirit had left Saul, so he needed a witch to try to pull Samuel back. Okay, so he could talk to him. So, but I'm not going to pull that scripture up at this time. Okay. She said, "Steal, kill, and destroy." Right? Ain't that what she said? The devil comes but to kill, steal, and destroy. Let me get this for you. That's like I said. That's biblical. John 10 and 10. John 10 and 10. You see it's in red. So it says, "The thief cometh not but to steal, and to kill, and destroy." So that's what that's what Satan's job is, to steal, to kill, and destroy, ordained by the Lord to do it. You see what he said? You see what the Lord told him to go do to Job? He could touch everything. He wasn't going to go to Job and make Job be more abundant. He was getting ready to go and take all the wealth and things that Job had from him, to steal, to kill, and destroy. And then he put that same thing in Esau as a race of people. Okay, don't think it's a race of people? Watch this. Let's go here. This is a scripture that I had in the works, but let me go here. I'm gonna start at 4. Isaiah 14 and 4. Thou that shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and shall say, How hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city seat? The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in a continual stroke, he that ruleth the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole world is at rest and is quiet. They break forth and sing, and yea, the fir trees rejoice. I'm gonna drop down. Hell from beneath is moved to meet thee. It's like, let me see. Let's see. Actually, let me go down here to 12. I'm gonna go to 14 and 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Put everybody in fear with and this is and see this is how you know Babylon is America, speaking in the scriptures, because it says, how art thou fallen, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? How did America weaken the nations? It put the fear in all the nations by being the only people that absolutely took a hydrogen weapon and used it not once but twice against a group of people, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and did biblical killing, 70, 80,000 in one move, and the radiation fallout putting it into hundreds of thousands. Okay? Okay? Okay, so let's look at this. So now, America did that. But now let's look at one of the other telltale signs of these people. Because I say it ain't just the so-called Caucasian, the white man, Esau, Edom in America, the Caucasian, but it's also over there in Russia too. And here's why we'll do this. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground of the weak? Okay, verse 13. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into the heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Okay, so that's over here. But how did they start going up into the heavens? Who was the first one to get up out of the what you consider the upper stratosphere and actually go up into space? That was Russia. Russia is the one that put the Sputnik, the satellite, into orbit, and then America got into that space race with them. Okay, and then America had to lie because they couldn't get to the moon, so they lied and said they went to the moon. Okay? It says, I will send above heavens in the clouds, I will be like the Most High. Okay? I will be like the Most High. Now, let's get down to verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man? So we was talking about Lucifer here, which is Satan, and now we're going into the man. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee like you squinting and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble? So now we go back to America. We're back here in America dealing with that, but the space race jumped up into the heavens through Russia. Okay? And made the earth to tremble, that did shake the nations. Okay, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners, destroyed cities. And now, what it is, we've got laws on the books that says certain drugs and whatnot isn't unlawful, but people that got caught for those drugs are still locked up here in America, like cannabis, weed, this, that, and the other. Okay, so now that's that on that. Let me go back here. Let me get the next scripture. Okay, so I've got this. Let me pull up Nahum. Let me pull up Nahum 3, verse 4. Nahum 3 and 4. Because of a multitude of whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. This is what the lady said. In America, it's packaged different. It's packaged different. But it's still the same thing. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. That's good. That's Revelation. The harlot that was on the beast. The red dragon. Okay? This is all this. Through her whoredoms and families that selleth nations through her whoredoms. Okay? So you got nations now that done caught hold of her whoredoms. So now you got them nations over there in Western Asia that wanted no parts, or Africa that wanted no parts of this democracy that they push, because with this democracy or democracy that they push comes LGBT and all this other kind of stuff. You know, kids being able to determine what sex they want to be, and all this other stuff. How is America can tell people what they kids can be when the kids isn't well? You're supposed to raise a child, not have a child dictate to you what they want to be. You raise a child up, okay? But America pushes total 180 degree. So like the scriptures, like I said, the Lord said that he come to, go back to that John real quick. Hold on, no. Let me go back to the Nahum real quick. So I'm getting ready to get beside myself. Okay? And families through it, okay? That sells nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. So now, father against son, mother against daughter, all this. All this is happening now, okay? A mother and a father decide that they want their son to be raised traditionally, but the son, through the influence of what he's seeing on the internet, and the demons ramping up, got him thinking that he wants to be this. And the parents don't even have a say-so as to what's what now. Seriously? Let me go on and pull this last thing out. Give me a second here. I'll just get away that quick. Let me have one more. Okay, here we go. One more. Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 12. Let me get this and we're going to be done with it. Wisdom of Solomon 4 and 12. I'm not trying to make this long. Wisdom of Solomon 4, verse 12. For the bewitching of naughtiness does obscure things that are honest. For the bewitching of naughtiness, the spells that are cast of naughtiness does obscure things that is honest. And the wandering of can spice the lustful thoughts of doing shit that's not right, that goes against what's supposed to happen, does undermine the simple mind. So they package this shit in such a way that just wanting to be in the flow of things, you're following evil in the process of. So the lady was correct on some points. I've just pointed out in the scriptures exactly where it was correct at and showed where she went off at. So hey, I hope that that's edifying for you all to see. And like I said, she was right on some level, okay? But at the same time, you got to have 100% clarity to know when shit is going on. So with that, I hope that's edifying. I want to send all praises, honor, and glory out to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Akakwadash, to the apostles and elders again, out of GMS, and the Elder Bishop Connecticut, double honors, for the hopefully elect, a hearty shalom and Shabbat shalom, and for the rest of the world, a Baba Ball.